I'd like to welcome all of you. Some of you are here, and we hope a lot of you are at home in the comfort of your living room, whatever, watching this program, because this is really an important part of our town and an important way to participate in our town. You can do everything from pay your water bill and your taxes to writing fan mail to the selectmen, complaining to the town treasurer. No, you'll be fascinated, I hope, and I hope that you'll make use of it. A lot of towns have this, and I've been looking at other towns and what they've done so that we can make sure that we're all up to date. But this is a very good job. How long did it take to make this new one?
The new website?
6 months?
Yeah, I was going to say about 6 to 7 months.
Stretching it out,
Yeah. So it's definitely our taxpayer money at work, but this is definitely a way to make everything more efficient. So I'm Don McDaniel, and I just kind of got this thing going, and I'm going to turn it over to several town officials who are here. Actually, if you want to just say who you are, and then I'll sit down. Starting over here. I guess not.
Yeah.
I'm Jim Hegarty. I'm the new town clerk.
Mark Purple, I'm the town administrator.
Brian Valentine, Finance Director.
And Vanessa Hale, the Assistant Town Administrator.
So they'll take it from here.
So first, we're just going to start with a review of the new town website, which I hope all of you have had a chance to look at. If you have not, the website address is www.southboroughtown.com. And you'll notice with anything on the website or in our town documents, we do spell Southborough out the long way, O-U-G-H. So we just want to make sure that folks remember that. So we're going to start just with the home page. And my counterparts here will certainly jump in if they want to mention something that I don't, and we'll have time to make sure everybody has a chance to chime in. But the front homepage here, you'll see this is the list of upcoming meetings, and it's scheduled, as you can tell, by date. So there are 4 meetings listed here right now. The top 2 are meetings this evening, and the other 2 below that are meetings that will occur tomorrow. And over here on the right-hand side, you can click on any date if you're looking for a meeting agenda that you know is coming up later in the week or next week, or you can click this little link down here that says All Meetings, which will take you to another calendar screen where you can look by date going forward, etc. So when you click on any link for any of these meetings, you'll be able to see the meeting agenda. That is part of the current regulations of the Secretary of State. Every time you post a meeting notice, you are required now to post an agenda so the public can view what you'll be talking about that evening. So this is an agenda for tonight's meeting of the Community Preservation Committee. And many committees are also attaching their board meeting packet more often, which we certainly encourage. So if there is a packet, there would be a link right with the agenda for the meeting packet. Some of these other tabs we'll run through quickly. The next one is Newsflash, and this is where we're posting current information that we want the public to see. So the first thing we have here is the annual town meeting warrant. The second thing is the FY17 proposed budget. Just want to show what these look like. People might be more used to the actual printouts. So these are available on the website, of course, but if you prefer the hard copy, they were released last Friday, and you can pick them up at the townhouse during our open hours, at the transfer station, or at the library to get your own copy. The other document that is not loaded on the website yet, but it will be shortly, is this year's annual town report. So since we're at the Senior Center, I want to make sure we mention that many of the paintings located in the town report this year were solicited by senior citizens here in town. So we're thrilled that they were able to participate in the town report this year. So the next link down would be events. So this is more, date specified. The most current events would rise to the top. Again, today is March 29th, 2016, the day that we're filming this video. Tonight there is a event here at the Senior Center with Representative Carolyn Dykema and some of our other officials talking about the DCR watersheds here in Southborough. So that pops right to the top based on the date. And then there are other items that you'll see down below. The other things that are most popular on the homepage are to the left here, right over here. Several of them relate to board or committee business. There's a separate link over here for minutes and agendas. So that's where you could find, depending on the committee you're looking for, the board or committee you're looking for, you would find them under that heading. There's also the town code, which is our town bylaws. If you're looking to, it's a link to the application that we use for looking up a bylaw is located right there. Some of the other things over here would be volunteer positions. If you're looking to volunteer for a board or committee, you can find a list right here of what the available vacancies are currently and the number of openings there are on each board, as well as what the term would be for that. And down the bottom here is a volunteer form. I'm going to go back to the home page here, to forms and applications, which is also a popular area. So we tried to put on the home page under citizen action what we think are the most popular things people might be looking for, you know, the kind of information that would rise to the top. But under this forms and applications page, as you can see, it's segregated by department. So say under building and zoning, you could get plumbing application, electrical application, etc. Anything relating to the zoning board of appeals, if you need a variance or something, if you need to go through that process, that's part of the building department. Some of the other popular applications here would be, say, under highway, which is our DPW, the transfer station form to mail in to order your transfer station sticker would be right there. So we'll go back to the home page. I'm going to let Brian talk for a minute, Brian Valentine, our finance director, about the online payment tab. This is where you can go if you want to pay one of your bills online.
So we've had a number of, over the years, a number of items that we're trying to put online for payments. So all your popular taxes are on there, the excise, auto excise tax, the real estate tax, personal property tax, water bills, all the bills you might get from the town. There are a couple of other things on there. We'll probably look to expand the menu of options. Right now we have things such as transfer station stickers, which are actually migrating over to the clerk's department, which I'm sure we'll have a link over there by July 1st, that you can obviously utilize that. Other things such as building department permits, you can access that from online and pay for a permit online. One other thing that comes to mind is burning permits, because burning permit season is here and right around the corner. So there's the access for that on.
I have a little bit of issue for that. Can I?
Yep.
Can I address that? I've got my burning permit,
Mm-hmm.
and when you go on and it says status approved, it says online approval. So last year I saw that and I said, oh, I got my permit. I went on the day I was going to burn, and I went on and I said, oh, online approval. I guess I'm all set. I wasn't all set.
Because you didn't have the actual.
You have to activate. Now, to activate, you have to be a genius to figure out that you have to go up to a GWCS up in the corner, and
thing?
click on that and then come down. And there's nowhere that says that.
Okay, well that's
I
good.
called the fire department and asked how
Yep.
to do it.
Yep.
And she told me, I said, well, that's pretty much hidden.
Yeah, we sort of have, some of the taxes, the payments outside the taxes are what I call decentralized, meaning that the department, we link to them and also the department sort of manages them. So, but that's good to know. Feedback like that, I necessarily wouldn't know because I don't go on for fire permits, so we'll address that.
And we could ask them to develop, some written instructions, some step
Oh,
by
sure,
step.
sure, because
that
it should
they
be
can
intuitive, it should be
list right
easy.
It should
there.
be intuitive.
That's the
and
purpose
that
of
was
this.
hardly intuitive.
Yeah,
At
that's-
least to me, I didn't
Oh,
find it.
absolutely. So like and I'll give you an example, for like a real estate bill, you have like your lot, map and lot on each bill, which is really all you need to pay for a real estate tax. It's very easy. You just look up your map and lot, there's a account number on the real estate payment, and it's as simple as that. It'll bring up your name and amount. So a lot of things, that's what we're hoping for, is intuitive, easy access like that. So just as another further interesting note on online payments, we do use a number of different sources for the online payments, meaning that some are handled through our bank, who handles many of our tax accounts. Some are handled through another third party that specializes in things such as permitting software, et cetera. So there are a number of different sources behind the scenes, not necessarily up front. You might not notice it, or they may look a little different, but it's just interesting to note that and that's common in towns. There's no one system that can handle, or we can't seem to find one system that can handle every single thing, because there's specialized processing systems out there.
I have a
But,
question. Do you have to pay an extra fee? With some of these systems, if you pay online, you have to pay an extra fee.
Yes and no, not for everything. Certain things, yes, like for taxes, for credit cards. Currently, yes, there's like an extra fee, basically because the credit card processing companies charge us, and so we pass that along. Now, the town at some point could look into and opt into paying that fee. Now, things such as some of the town clerk's items, he is incorporated into his own operations, so people don't have to have like an added convenience fee. You may have seen other things out there, like when you're shopping, they call it convenience fee. It's really like a bank processing fee that they're passing on to you. So, there are some things that, yes, it's incorporated in, some things that it's not. But we are gonna look at that again and revisit it and see the ups and
Do you know
the
up front that
advantages.
you're gonna pay a fee? Yesterday, I
Yes.
signed up for something, and it wasn't until I had already put in my credit, it has nothing to do with the town site.
Yep.
But I had already put in my credit card thing, and then I saw, this processing fee.
Yeah, of
They
course.
should've told me up front.
And of course, there's a motivation if you're shopping for something, for them to want you to get to the end.
Yeah.
But for us, it's not so much a motivation, so we tell people right up front. So we have, yeah, there's a different philosophy there. So I guess I'd just wrap it up by saying, yeah, we will be looking at that and revisiting that during the next year to not only get more things online, but looking at the payment structure. Is there easier ways to do it? And as a final note, I would encourage anyone like Mr. Harrington here, if they have issues that they notice like that, bring it to my attention or Vanessa's or the department that is managing that service, and we'll try to make it a little more clear for you.
So right now, the bills are, if you pay a bill, it's charged to your credit card? Is that how you make the payment?
Yes.
That's the only option?
Yeah, you can do the checking, you're like a check, but it's checking, it charges your checking account. That's just a flat 50 cents per,
So how would you do the check, like through your cell phone, or how would you do the check? Or would you-
no, you just need what they call an ABA number and an account number, which is at the bottom of your check, actually. Every check has a
Yeah.
digits that's ABA, which is really what's pointing to your bank, and then your account number, which is pointing to your account. So you just enter both of those, and like a name, they will request like a name and address, and that's it. It's really simple, and it comes out the next day. It's not that day, it's the next
My
day.
wife's the bookkeeper in our company, and she doesn't do anything on mine when it comes to checks. But
Well,
I'm
it's
just
become more
curious to know
popular, when we
how it's
first
done.
started, it was like anything else, it was 10, 20, 100,
How
and now
many,
it's...
do you know how many residents are paying online?
Oh,
Yeah,
God,
ballpark?
it's probably into the thousands now with everything. Only because you gotta think, it's excise, it's water, it's, when all those bills are tallied up, it's about 40,000 bills a year that we're sending out, so, it's definitely in the thousands now. It's great, it's a good service. And most seem happy with with all the taxes, so, it's going well.
I think I could just say, I do this thing about, is it gonna cost me more on gasoline to get to where I'm going, or should I pay it online? And obviously, that's a little on the
And people love
decide.
saving for stamps now, actually, you're right,
Yeah.
that they save on
Yeah,
buying
really.
stamps. Yep.
So the other thing we want to point out on the homepage that we're excited about, this is a new function in this new website, is this sign up for e-alerts. So this is an area where you can put in your email address and you can check off what you would like information about from the town. So it's another avenue for the town to push information out to you as much as possible. So the categories here are, they're separated. One is urgent alert, and that's all town alerts. The other is more news-based, news or announcements. And presently, you can check whether you want to be on the town clerk's sort of listserv, or the selectmen's listserv, or general town news and announcements. And then that would go directly, once we send out those alerts from time to time, that would go directly into your email inbox. So we're finding, and we're trying to use that function more often. This down here, the bottom, is sort of our social media outlet. The town does not itself have a Facebook page. We do have a Twitter account. There are some departments that do have a Facebook page. I know that the police department does, that the recreation department does, and even the senior center
yes.
also has
That's the
one.
sin.
So if you click on Facebook or Twitter, it will tell you who has, what social media account. So for Twitter, it's the town, it's the Arts Council, it's the rec department, and the library. So you can click right on here, and you don't have to be signed up as a Twitter user to look at the tweets, but currently we have 629 followers. We started this probably 3 to 4 years ago, just during one of the
Superstorm Sandy.
Superstorm Sandy, that's what it was, thank you. I had power at my house in Shrewsbury, so there was no power here. We had no ability to get any information out on the website because there was no power in Southborough. So I was able to go home and sort of push information out about outages and timelines and things like that. And then we decided, well, there's a lot of other information we could be pushing out there. We don't have to wait for another weather emergency. So we're trying to get information out there, at least once a day from a multitude of our departments and community events and things like that. So that's how you would link into the social media outlets if you were interested in that.
So I have a question. If I wrote a message into a board, or let's just say a board or department, will that be answered? Or, is that the assumption?
Yes. So
Okay.
let's look at, say, the selectmen's page. Actually, I got one today, just before I came down here. Someone had an inquiry about a streetlight issue. So once I got that, I forwarded it to the right department. But if you look at contact info. Okay, it's not where I thought it was. So I'm gonna check departments, it might be under there. There, just to make a note of that, there's an alphabetical listing by department and there's an alphabetical listing by board and committee. So those are two different functions. So let's just look for.
I got 2 last week at my department, and they're waiting for you in the morning. You come in, and they're sitting in your inbox for your email, which is great. I was able to assist a couple people, so it's a nice little feature.
I write to the selectmen, I've never heard of her. But I haven't actually written things that they might want to hear.
So here under the selectmen's page, this is actually the town administrator's page, so I'll make a point about that. There might be some distinctions in, who you're looking to contact. So, under departments, it doesn't say Board of Selectmen. It says you would go to town administrator because that would be the department head for the Board of Selectmen's office. But if you were looking under board and committee, you would see Board of Selectmen under B, down here. So you could just hover over to the department that you're looking for. And as far as McDaniel's question here about contacting the selectman's office, there would be, you would highlight the person's name that you're looking to reach, and then you could fill out this form, which would be name and email, subject and message.
They live 28
And
for
as
your mom.
Brian said, it comes right into our inboxes. So that's how you would contact certain officials. Some of the other things we just wanted to highlight that the public may not realize, Brian's already covered online payments and tax information. I think we made reference to the building department, but let's take a look at that for a minute. This is where we have a new software program where you can go on and look up, you know, the status of your building permit, or if, you know, there's a big project going on, you know, on your street and you're not sure what it is, you're curious what, you know, what they're doing, you can also search by address to see what kind of permit someone may have filed for. So that is all under, let's see, under view permits would bring you into a separate application where you could then, for example, click the search field here, and you can search by address, by applicant name, by permit type, by a permit number. If you happen to know your permit number, you wanted to look at the status of inspections and so forth, or by business name. So that's a separate application, but you would link to that through the building department page.
So this is all public information?
It is all public information. Yes, it is. 98% of everything in the town hall is public information. There are some exclusions, but the majority of it is public information. And that's what we're trying to do here, to, you know, post information that is public for the convenience of residents that are interested. Let's see, the other department I just wanted to highlight is the library, because they have an awful lot of information on their website. This is near and dear to your heart, Natalie. So, just a few things going on here, and probably the most popular thing is, well, an afternoon with tea and poetry coming up on April 13th. So, the most popular thing is probably you can reserve online for a museum pass. So look at that list right there. There's probably 13 or 14 museums listed there, from the Children's Museum, you know, to Tower Hill in Boylston, to the Russian Icon Museum in Clinton, to the Boston Harbor Cruises, which I think that's a new one. I didn't realize that one was there. That is seasonal, obviously. So you can reserve for those passes online. So that's very popular.
Well, excuse me, those are all funded by the Friends of the Library.
That's right,
aren't they?
thank you
It's
very
not
much.
out of your tax
That's a
money.
good thing to mention. The Friends of the Library do pay for that service, you know, for anyone to use. If you're a frequent patron of the library, you probably know that you can reserve your books online, your DVDs, your et cetera, and if it's not available in our library, then it can be borrowed from another library through the interlibrary loan services and delivered to the Southborough Library. So you can just go right there to pick up your book or DVD or whatever you might be looking for. Some of the other things that the library is, just referring to my notes here,
They have talks,
Oh,
really,
boy.
by really interesting people, like me.
That's true.
yes, all the events. On the right-hand column here, the library has their own Twitter account. So you'll see that information here where they post a lot of information about their upcoming events. They also have an event tab here. So, and that's, again, scheduled by date. So, say today there were 3 different events. There was a story time this morning at 3:45, a hands-on nature program, and tonight at the library, the Green Community Committee is making a presentation. So you can look at the times and room locations, etc. right there. Some of the things under information and services, like reference databases. There's a lot of free information at the library that most people probably don't realize they have access to. These are all, databases and reference resources here. And the newspapers that are available online are also, you can link to those through the library website. A lot of times, you can use all this information for free by just putting in your library card and your PIN number. So if you don't have a library card, we certainly encourage that, because there's a lot of resources here on the library website that we think would be very helpful to folks. So I'm gonna sort of let everybody else chime in and see what else maybe we should mention that could be helpful. Yeah. I know, Jim, you're making some updates in your office. Do you want to talk about the transfer station stickers or anything else?
Can you hear me okay back there? Great. I've been the clerk since the end of May, and I guess I'm still introducing myself as a new Paul Berry. So we have made some changes. We reduced the staffing by 1/3 in one of the positions. Yet I also asked for us to take over issuing all the transfer station stickers. And it made sense from a town perspective, because the transfer station stickers requires a lot of activity in June and July, and that's when we're slow. It makes sense. And really, when you think about it, issuing a dog license or a transfer station sticker, there's not much of a difference. And we've done a lot of work in terms of automation and looking at the various databases in town. And this will be a big impact upon people. And we've been able to take the data from the treasurer's office on excise tax and the census data from our side. So when you go online this summer to renew your transfer station sticker, all you're gonna have to do is put your license plate in. No paper, nothing else. If you're registered in Southborough, you already pay an excise tax, so we know you live in Southborough. That's all we need to prove. If it's a leased car or something like that, we can verify who you are from the census data or the voting list, very simply like that. So that's going to be a pretty easy thing. For the seniors, it gets even better. For the seniors, we're going to arrange here in July, we're going to work out the details with Pam. But basically, we're going to hire a couple of kids that work for recreation in the morning doing the counselors and training program, and they'll be here in the afternoon with me. And all seniors are going to have to do is literally drive through the parking lot here, and the kids will clean your bumper and put the sticker on your car for you. Your car is registered in Southborough. I don't need any paperwork to prove you're in Southborough. So we just need to work out the logistics of that. Finally, there's a certain tiny percent of people that don't get transfer station stickers, and people from other towns that go for the transfer station sticker. And we all see them once in a while, and you always wonder what they're doing there. So we have some money in the budget to have a little surprise for them. And we're not going to announce when this is going to happen, but sometime in the early fall, after everything's said and done, they're going to show up one Saturday, and there's going to be a policeman at the bottom of the ramp from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And if you have a sticker, he's going to welcome you to drive right up the hill. If you don't have a sticker, he's going to force you to go over to near where the kids do the car washes. And I'll be there with a whole bunch of people. And if you're somebody from Southborough that just didn't renew your sticker, we'll renew it on the spot. We'll take a cash, check, or credit card on the spot and take care of it. That's one line. The other line is the people that don't have a sticker, you've got to explain what you're doing. If you're from Hopkinton or something else, or maybe you're new to town, we'll make it work for you. But if you don't belong there, that's when you get the piece of paper with the fine. So it's just the right thing to do. And it's going to cost us about $2,000 for that day to do all that. But if we get 8 people to register with stickers that day, and we will, it'll break even. Stickers are $250 a piece. So
What's the fine if you don't have a sticker?
I'm not sure what that is, and that's going to be set. Thank you for bringing that up, because that's actually.
It started at $100, I think.
That's actually,
warning.
that's under discussion right now, and the selectmen will have to make that call. But, sure.
Finish your thought.
No, go ahead. I can talk a cat off a fish wagon, so I'm glad you interrupted me.
Well, you say you're gonna have the policeman right at the gate there?
No, when you go up the hill.
Oh, you have to have actually come in and committed
Yes,
yourself to
you
use
crossed the dotted That's line. right.
use the facility.
Yes, ma'am.
That way.
Yeah, because people could come down there and turn to go to Eversource. We're not going to bother them. If they want to buy a sticker, we'll talk to them, but we're not going to bother them. But yeah, once you're at that point, you've committed. You're not there just for sightseeing.
Okay, I see.
And we'll figure that out.
Turn.
And we're also going to have a couple of half-day events during the year. 4 hours apiece, because that's what you have to hire a police officer for 4 hours. And we'll get a couple of people for that as well. And, hopefully that'll deter the people that don't belong there.
And for the rest of us that are, taxpayers that are doing the right thing, maybe it'll help keep some people on the straight and narrow. But as far as fees and things and online kind of a deal, I'm one of these people that it's like fingers on a chalkboard. When I go to a gas station, and there's one price if I pay cash and another if I use a credit card. Now, I always use a credit card when I go, but it bothers me to have to pay extra money for the credit card. So we're going to recommend to the selectmen that they incorporate any fees to process the stuff online, put it in the fee. It works for everybody to do that. We're also going to deal with a company that'll fulfill orders online. They'll charge us a few dollars per sticker, but if people buy them online, they'll actually process it and send them. We want to try them for years, see if that works, see if that'll work. And for the people that want to come in by mail, terrific, we'll handle that for them. If they want to come in person to the office, we'll take care of it. You'll be coming up to the clerk's office for everything, no longer going to DPW. We'll issue one-day stickers and all the rest of that. So one of the things kind of related to that, another initiative we're undertaking, is we're going to be buying mailing lists of all the people that move to town. They actually come from the post office, but you can't buy them from that. I don't quite understand that, but we have to go to a private company to buy the post office's data. And we're going to be able to get that information within about a week of when the people move to town. And what we want to do is we want to send them timely information about Southborough, so that their first interaction with Southborough isn't a bill from Brian. Or Brian, I actually heard you talk about the popular taxes. Was that the phrase you used? But we'll be able to send them things like informative stuff. When you first move to town here, how do you get a transfer station sticker? What's a transfer station if they never knew about
What's
that?
a transfer, yeah.
How do they register to vote? Information about the library, information about the schools, information they're going to need in the first couple of weeks. Say again? Yeah. Well, the first few weeks, we don't want to frighten them away, send them this and that. But we want to give them stuff like that. So, and hopefully that'll make it easier for the people at the town and for the transfer station and things like that. But that's a big difference about the transfer station. We hope that that'll make that easier for everybody, flow smoothly, and that extra enforcement piece at the transfer station, that hasn't happened it's been a long time since I've seen somebody there, a police officer there in a detail, and maybe it'll cause some people that don't belong there to go someplace else. So we'll go from there. So another couple of changes that we have on our side, probably the thing that I've been most surprised at in the clerk's office is how much time we spend with dog licenses. Wow, it's a lot of work. But we just sent a mailing out to everybody in town to remind them the dog license is due, and the letter actually had the specific information about that dog. Why is that important? For the last 2 years, 77% of the people didn't pay their dog licenses on time because nobody reminded them. And if you don't pay your dog license on time, instead of paying $8, it gets up as high as $103 with the fines. Yeah, and so we don't. I would be happy if we didn't have somebody pay $1 in a fine. There's no reason to be going down that road. And we've had phenomenal response from that so far. And we're actually taking credit cards right now, and we are working to get this online. The problem we're running into is that the companies charge a minimum fee to allow you to pay for something online. You talked about that late charge. A lot of places have a minimum fee of $3. And I'm working with a company that'll let us sort of get around that, but we'll create our own merchant presence, if you will. And then we can pass it through to a credit card vendor at a very low rate. Because nobody's going to want to pay $3 on top of an $8 dog license. That's not going to work. But we think we can find a way around that. And in the clerk's office, if you went in today and paid $8 for a dog license, we're absorbing the fee. We were able to get a phenomenally low rate with a credit card company. It's only costing us pennies to do that. Finally, something else, we dropped the fees for copies of documents. And I have to tell you something I'm embarrassed about. Is a fella came in about 2 months ago and his wife had passed, and he needed 20 copies of her death certificate, which is unusual to have that many, but 20. And the policy had been it's $10 for every copy. And we just charged this fella $200. And when he was sitting waiting for us to process this, he was just staring at his shoes the whole time, and I could tell he was still very torn up about his wife's death. And I felt it was so wrong to do that. And we looked at what other towns charge. Most towns charge $15, some charge $20 per copy, and that's not right. So I dropped the fees for all copies. It's $10 for the first and $2 for extra copy. So like for when young mothers come in for birth certificates, my kids are all grown. By the time you hit 18, you're gonna need 5 or 6 copies of it. So rather than have them come in 5 or 6 times over the course of the child's life and get 6 copies of a birth certificate, we tell them, pay $20 right now, we'll give you 6 copies, you'll never have to come back again. It's better for them, better for us. So we dropped the fees for all copies to $10 and 2. It seems the right thing to do.
Does that include if you wanted a copy of your neighbor who has a plan to remodel or something?
No,
I mean, I'd
we
pay
have,
$5 for,
you won't. I have yet to charge anybody a fee for a copy of any public record. If somebody needs something like a certified copy, we charge them a couple of dollars for that, just because otherwise we'd have people doing that all day long. But no, if you come in for a copy of a public record, anything, you want a copy of my emails, I'll give you everything you want. We're not going to charge you anything for it.
Do you mean like a ZBA thing, or I think he's talking about the building stuff,
well,
or maps or drawings?
Yeah.
Like an application for a special permit or something like that, or a variance?
I'm on an application, but the plot plan where trees are supposed to be
If
put
it's,
along the line.
if it's something that's filed in our office, I'm not going to charge you for it. It's your records,
You know, a large sheet, so.
no, we're not going to charge you for it.
That's good.
We're not going to charge you for
Need
it.
any more.
It's, your records, we shouldn't have a barrier to keep you from getting that. And, we get 2 or 3 requests a week. It's just for usually a couple of pieces of paper. We get requests from the outside for information about conflict of interest filings, things like that, which actually brings us to an interesting point. I have 4 warrant articles that I submitted this year, kind of unusual, but one of them involves, I want to circle back to the comment that Vanessa made showing you where the minutes are online. And what has happened historically, there's a requirement under the open meeting law that every board or committee that holds a meeting has to produce minutes of that meeting. And there's a few things they have to have, the topics, who votes, and so forth. But as it stands right now in Southborough, every board or committee is responsible for maintaining their own records. And, we all know we've been on different groups and boards that some are better than others. And, where do you go to find the records from 2 years ago? Is it in the garage? Is it in the closet? Are they still in town? So one of the things that I put forward is that we should be responsible, the clerk's office should be responsible for capturing or retaining all the minutes from every board and committee. It just makes sense. We're one-stop shopping for everything, we should bring that in. And then we'll take all that and we'll put that up on the web, plus we'll keep the hard copy, we have to. So if somebody wants to see it, we'll have everything for you right there. We won't charge you for it. So.
Thank you, Jim. Since we have your undivided attention, and we're 2 weeks away from town meeting, we wanted the town administrator to have a chance to talk about the upcoming warrant articles and the FY17 budget
Sure.
preview.
Sure, thank you, Vanessa. So I have actually more than I need, copies of the budget recommendations from the Selectman's office. This is a new initiative that we started doing last year, which kind of gives everybody an understanding of, gives everyone an understanding of what is in the budget, how we, get to the budget that we bring forward to town meeting. And again, in trying to make, the budget process a little more transparent for people. And quite honestly, I think it's been beneficial. We seem to have fewer and fewer questions about the budget at town meeting, which means that we're either doing a good job or people are reading the material and they're getting their questions answered in advance. This is something that the finance team, including Brian, the town assessor, and the town accountant, have worked to put together with me over the course of the budget season, and I think it's been extremely helpful. Gets all the information in one place, so that during the year in that we only have to go back to one place to find everything that we're looking for. Also, these just came back from the printer very recently. It's the warrant document for the town meeting for this year. In the front of the book is a great little list of all the about the town finance terminology and introduction to the rules of town meeting. This is something Donna talks about an awful lot. Is when you go to town meeting, how do I ask a question? How do I make a motion? How do I move the question so we can get done with it and move on to the next thing because I've heard enough in the past hour? All of these things are explained in here, and it makes it very easy for people to get an idea of how they should conduct themselves and how business is conducted at town meeting. Just as a note, both of these documents are up on the website, and people can go and take a look at them. In the brief time that we have here, I'm not going to get into a whole lot of detail, but I will go through briefly. The warrant this year has 39 articles. The majority of the articles are articles that you see every year. They're routine articles that we have to vote every year. If you look at any warrant, it's usually broken down into administrative articles up front, and then you will handle the budget articles, the financial articles. It's followed by any bylaw articles or things for the Board of Selectmen, sometimes road acceptances. Then you start to get into the planning and zoning articles. And then after that, normally would be any citizen petition articles. So in this particular warrant, again, you start off with, the first article is an annual article, hearing reports from boards and committees, anybody that wants to give a report on what they've been doing for the past year, if there's anything of interest to the town and town meeting in particular. The town moderator does limit these to 5 minutes unless people are given permission ahead of time to go a little bit longer. And then we get into some of the annual financial articles. For example, Article number 3, borrowing authorization. This allows the town treasurer to borrow money in anticipation of revenue to be received. Proud to say that I don't think we've ever used that article, but we still give the treasurer the ability to do that in case we do need to. Article 5, the personnel salary administration plan. Our personnel plan is in our bylaw, and so it's something that we have to go to town meeting if we want to make any changes to the benefits that we give our employees, how we conduct appointments, things of that nature. And Vanessa, as the assistant town administrator, also doubles as the person who handles a lot of our personnel matters. We do that jointly, but she does the majority of the day-to-day with that. She works with the personnel board over the course of the year on these bylaws. And so any changes that are made, those have to be voted every year by town meeting. Article 7 and 8 deal with the budget. Article 7 is anything in this fiscal year that we're dealing with that maybe we didn't budget it quite right, maybe something unanticipated happens where we need to reallocate funds from different places within the budget. For example, we had some of those issues, with snow and ice, where it was just so big last year that we had to move some money around to do things like that. This would be where things like that would happen. Article number 8 is obviously your centerpiece article for your budget. This is where the town decides how much money we want to spend on what departments and what services. And this is, a labor of love that we start in November and we finish 2-3 weeks before town meeting and finally getting everything all sorted out as to how we're going to fund all of these issues, how we're going to balance a budget, how we're going to make responsible decisions for town meeting, to determine whether or not this is the appropriate way that you want to spend your money and on what services. We also have, the capital items, Articles 9 and 10, which deal with things, such as, new police cruisers, fire trucks, DPW vehicles, it may be new water main, it may be paving of the streets. So those are the type of items that we handle in there. There are a couple of articles that will be of interest this year. And again, I don't, the articles that I'm not doing every article, but just the ones that I think are of interest. Articles 13 and 14, as you may be aware, the town has been working with the owner of 84 Main Street, also known as the Burnett House, for a preservation restriction. And that is, still being finalized, but that is going to be something that town meeting will need to vote on as to whether or not, the town wants to preserve that property. And in order to do that, Article 14 would provide the funding from the Community Preservation Act funds, which are jointly paid or revenue received from residents as part of your tax bill, as well as from the state. They pay a portion of that. So, I think that is definitely going to generate some discussion. You'll see a number of articles here, CPA funds for a number of projects. Jim has, the town clerk's office has some preservation work here on some of their records, historical records. Library is looking at preserving some of their records. There is the bond for Chestnut Hill, for the open space up at Chestnut Hill. This is the last year of that bond, so after this year, it's all paid off, and then we'll have money available to apply to other projects as the CPC sees fit. There was also an issue on here this year under Article 20. As you're aware, the Main Street project for repaving and redoing that entire that road is eligible and has been approved for state funding. And now we're in the process of looking at easements and what is going to be required, temporary and permanent easements for construction of that road. And that is going to be a discussion of granting the selectmen the authority to negotiate with each individual homeowner or property owner, because there are St. Mark's and Faith School properties as well that need to be engaged for easements for the project. And so I think Article 20 is going to generate some discussions as well. Issues on here, Article 24 and 25, accepting two roads as public ways. And then we get into a lot of the planning articles. We get into looking at a solar bylaw, as well as the acceptance of the Mass Board of Building Regulations and Standards Stretch Energy Code, which is something that the town needs to do in order to become designated as a green community by the state, which then allows us to get grant funding to be able to improve the efficiency of some of our buildings and look at the ways to improve some of our streetlights and things that can help to save money, which again, those savings are then passed along to the residents. We are, as Jim had mentioned, we are taking a look at several articles. There's 4 articles on here for the town clerk's office, dealing, with dogs, dealing with committees, and the town meeting. The town election, lining that date up with the town of Northborough, because we share obviously a school district, and we need to make sure that those elections are held on the same day. And so Northborough is doing a similar article as well. At the end of the warrant is where the citizen petitions go, and there are 3 this year that have been submitted to address the zoning as it relates to medical marijuana dispensaries. So this is a bylaw that was put on the books a couple of years ago, and a resident has brought forward several articles in order to make changes to the existing zoning. So that is a real quick, broad brush. I do want to point out one thing, just to acknowledge her, which I know is embarrassing, but that's okay. The 3 documents, the warrant, the budget book, and the annual town report that Vanessa held up earlier are all generated from the Selectman's office, and I would be completely remiss if I did not acknowledge my executive assistant, Maureen Colery, who is involved in making sure that all 3 of these documents get done, and very professionally, on time, and it's been a great benefit to me, and a great help to me to have her help with doing that. So she does a great job, and I just wanted to take the opportunity, since the cameras are rolling, to publicly thank her for that. Yes.
I didn't hear where we can get the town report.
You can get that
Are they
at the
available at
selectman's
the town?
office, or at the library, or the transfer station.
So all the documents are on the website. The warrant, I'm sorry, the town report in hard copy form like that is limited edition because they're kind of expensive to produce. So we have limited production, I think, to 150 copies of hard copies, of which the town clerk's office takes like, what, 120? Yeah, they take a number, but we do have them out at the selectmen's. If you walk right in to the desk, right, and as soon as you walk in the door, we'll sneak a couple up there for you.
The library gets a few.
And the library does get them as well.
Is it online too?
It is online. Yeah, it is online. And I really, and one of the things, and I'll talk just briefly about this, with the town report, Donna's done a great job in helping with that report, Donna McDaniel. One of the things that I've taken with me from other positions that I've been in other communities around the state is trying to get community involvement with the town report. And so you may have seen, this is the third year that we've done this, is trying to incorporate the artwork and trying to incorporate contributions from our community into the town report, which is why the past 2 years we've had artwork from some of the kids, in our K-8 schools who've contributed to that. And then this year, a suggestion was made to me that we need to incorporate artwork from the seniors in our community. And and we had some really great stuff from the
On the back cover as well.
from the seniors, and
And
it just
sprinkled throughout the report.
Yeah.
So if you
so-
want to take your color printer, get a color cartridge, you can get that quality.
you can do that too, yeah. And like I said, some of them are just really, really nice, and it's been very well received. And I know that we make sure that all of the people who do have their artwork included.
Is it dedicated to anyone this year?
It is dedicated.
We had two town employees that passed away very suddenly during the year, so that's the dedication for this current year. One was Patrice Colon, Assessor's Office, who worked for the town for over 25 years. And the other person that passed away very suddenly was Ken Strong, one of our firefighters.
Yeah.
Who is the town moderator now?
David Coombs. Yeah, and this will be, and David has announced that he's not running for re-election in the spring, so this will be his last town meeting. So that he'll be conducting. So, and David does a great job. It's people may think that it's an easy thing to stand up there and do what he does and that, but it's easy when you're sitting in the audience. But when you're standing up there and keeping track of all the motions and the amendments and who said what and parliamentary procedure, it's not easy.
Mr. Wilson, what was it?
John Wilson,
For
yes.
so many years.
Yeah.
That's a good point to mention that the last Thursday in April 28th, the library will again be hosting the annual candidates debate starting at 6:30 PM that evening. Jim, this will be your first town meeting. Any comments that you want to get out to the public before we wrap up?
Well, one of the warrant articles that Mark Purple mentioned, I put forward, was to change the voting next year for the date of our town election from Monday to Tuesday. And our elections typically are on Tuesdays, and frankly, when I was running for office last year, the last weekend before the election, a lot of people said, good luck on Tuesday. No, it's on Monday. So I had to run out and get little red stickers on my signs, and so I talked to Northborough, and they'd wanted to do it for a long time, so that's what we did. Finally, I want to just touch base on a couple of comments you made about feedback. From the clerk's office, I read every email and I read every letter that comes in. And I'll tell you straight up, this summer I had to go to 4 people's homes to apologize for mistakes that we made and the way they were treated. We resolved that issue, and I've had some wonderful suggestions that have come in off the websites, great feedback from people, suggestions after the last elections, and occasionally we'll get a criticism, and love to hear it. And we only get better when people tell us better ways to do it or tell us we make a mistake. So I've got thick skin, and if you can think of a better way for us to do it, something we should stop doing, something we should start doing, I'd love to hear from you.
Thank you. Anything else you'd like to add, Donna, before we wrap up? Step closer to
Except
the
to say
microphone.
say thank you to these people who, this is Tuesday. This is, no, to you guys for being here.
Yes.
I'm shocked, shocked that so few
But
came.
now they can watch it on TV.
That's right.
You tell them all they missed something really great.
Yeah.
So, but these people, especially the other three who work for the selectmen, tonight, is the selectmen's meeting or no?
No,
Not
next
tonight.
week.
No,
Okay,
tonight.
Well, never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not
I was
tonight.
There's a
gonna-
meeting
I
right
really-
there.
Today's an easy one.
I really felt bad that I was, because Tuesdays can be very hectic around this
Yeah.
time, continue until when the board meeting, and I thought, this is a terrible thing I've asked them to do, but here they are. And Jim, who's just taken that town clerk's office and hold, and look at all the stuff you're doing. It's great. So, this is a terrific town, and you need to be part of keeping democracy going, and this is how we do it.
I don't think we ever
Thank
mentioned
you.
the date of town meeting, which is
Right,
2
right.
weeks from yesterday, Monday, April 11th at Trotter Middle School. If it goes to a second and third night, the second night would be Tuesday, then we skip Wednesday, and if we need a third night, we would meet on Thursday.
Could you repeat the website, this website?
Yes, it's www.southborough, spelled out O-U-G-H, town.com.
So when the election is, that's the only other date, is May, town election now? 9th, 10th?
Yeah.
It's in the back of the warrant.
Okay.
Not-
Drawing a blank.
May 9th.
Ninth?
May not, it's May
May
9th.
Okay,
It's not.
That's right.
I thought it was
Monday.
10th.
It won't change this year where.
Right,
Right,
It's
right.
May
9th,
9th,
May 9th.
May 9th, starting at 8 o'clock.
Will you have any educational offering in town meeting to introduce this to the people that didn't show up today?
If time allows, we're still determining how many boards and committees are looking to make a report at the very beginning of the meeting. We'll definitely flash the homepage and give a very brief review, if the moderator would grant that to us.
It's very impressive.
Thank you.
So, and I'd like to, I
Lot of
mean, I
work went
offer
into
to
it.
do a handout, like a couple pages, just that people get when they collect handouts
Sure.
with the front page and, It's amazing how a lot of people aren't paying a lot of attention. Naughty, naughty.
Unfortunately, it's tough when you pick it up that night
Yeah.
and you start 10 minutes after you've just sat down with it, because most likely that's going to end up in the circular file
Yeah. No, I'm
at the end of the
thinking-
night.
I was talking about, well, I know that's true
Yeah.
too. I'm talking about having something about the website.
Oh,
Just a couple
absolutely.
sheets.
Sure, sure. I think that'd be
Show-
helpful.
Yeah, I know it. Those stacks that we have and then. Recycle. Thank you, and thank you to, Sam is Southborough Access Media. Trevor, your last name is?
Dillman.
Dillman, I'm sorry, has been with us to take our pictures, and so we want you to use this, but also look at all the other offerings there are. You can really stay home for some of the things and find out what's going on. Don't feel bad if you're home. Just turn on your TV. So thank you, everybody.